Hello everyone and now welcome to a game. Sheik versus TGW. This game taking place here on Tidehunters 1.2. Sheik spawning as the blue undead at the 5 o'clock position. Meanwhile, TGW spawning as the yellow orc on the top left. Orc versus undead in this 1v1 matchup. And will the beefy hit points of select orc units be able to withstand the onslaught of Death Coil Frost Nova? That is the question we have at hand. Well, the first question now to ask is, what are going to be the hero choices? Undead, 9 times out of 10, open things up with a Death Knight. Meanwhile, we're looking at TGW, who has a number of different options available to him. We'll see what is going to be coming of this here in just a moment. Meanwhile, the peons are just trying to correctly lumber away, get a lot of lumber, or sorry, gold here, as we do see a war mill fairly quickly out. So it is going to be Farseer with a war mill. And with that war mill here, we may actually just see Farseer headhunters. One thing to note, Lich first coming in from Sheik. So this must be that 1 time out of 10 where we do see a Lich first, followed up with Dark Ritual. That Dark Ritual does translate into a fair bit of mana for that Lich, given the right opportunity. Scouting Acolyte making its way out onto the battlefield, trying to, scout out here, see what it can possibly do next. Meanwhile, back at home, we are going to be going into a Tomb of Relics. Is the Lich going to be selling that Scroll of Town Portal and all of it, and trying to pick up a Rod of Necromancy and perhaps a Sacrificial Skull to get some of that Blight down to be able to summon up buildings? Meanwhile, Farseer with a lone grunt should be transitioning into headhunters here in just a moment. And with those headhunters out on the battlefield, should be able to clear out some relatively difficult creep camps. Lich already out on the battlefield here. Are we looking at Dark Ritual? We are. Ritual Dagger, Rod of Necromancy, Acolyte coming back here as we're looking at the engagement getting underway. There's a big Frost Nova. There's a summoning of a Ziggurat, followed up with the Farseer, and the Farseer is here to harass. All right, harassment already underway. This Ziggurat taking quite a bit, or it's now the Ghoul taking quite a bit of damage, as we see a little bit of a heal going on there. Ritual Dagger being used once more. It looks like more damage is racking up onto that Ziggurat here, and may be forced to cancel, as I don't see where the Acolyte currently is. No, Acolyte hanging out in the back, and we're still looking at a big fight here overall. Lich, some Frost Novas could rack up a little bit more damage. You can see those Skeletal Warriors getting in some damage onto that slower moving Farseer, who's now down to 199 hit points and dropping slowly but surely, which could spell some problems. Lich, however, needs quite a bit more mana before he's able to launch another Frost Nova here, as the Murlocs are now going to get cleaned up. Here now coming across is another Ziggurat here. Farseer now on the board with some experience as well. Headhunters able to do a little bit of poking, as the Grunt now being forced to back away. All right, some early engagement is incredibly important. You don't want to give your opponent all of the opportunities to gain too much experience, as we are looking at now. All right, Lich down to 14 hit points. Grunt going to try and engage against that Lich here. Grunt going to continue to fight here. Lich now back down to 20 hit points. Does have 6 armor. And now while back on a Blight, should be able to turn back around and then get enough damage onto that Grunt. Down to 21 hit points. Down to 10 hit points. One more shot, and the Ghouls are able to finish it off. Lich survives at 30 hit points, only to see more units coming back around the other side. All right, more damage racking up in. Lich now down to 34 hit points. Now trying to get away. Does have that Ring of Protection +4. Now going to try to stand next to some Blight. You're looking at, some damage getting up there. No, does he level up? Leveling up would be huge. That's the level 2. And now with level 2, perhaps could survive a little bit more because of that bonus experience. That little bit of bonus experience there making a drastic difference, as we see a Necropolis now getting summoned in as well. All right, more damage getting racked on up. Farseer down to 41 hit points as well, as both heroes were dangerously low on hit points, but somehow able to survive. All right, a little bit of uphill damage there. There is a Dark Ritual. Lich now back up to 152 mana. Meanwhile, this Tide Warrior. Going to get cleaned up. There, it gets taken down. Lich does have Boots of Speed, able to move around the map fairly quickly. Needs to get another Ritual Dagger if he wants to heal, but these are some extremely close calls in this early game, as the Farseer going to be picking up some healing salves and healing, up his hit points, and perhaps a grunt or two if they somehow survived the onslaught. Shadowhunter as that follow-up hero to add in a bit of support. This I am surprised about. I was expecting a Tauren Chieftain to act as a frontline tank. Instead, we see a Shadowhunter with perhaps Serpent Wards, Healing Wave, and Hex. Down across here, Lich, up to 6 rods of Necromancy, did use another Ritual Dagger charge, back up to 250 hit points and climbing, but still going to take some time before the Lich actually feels comfortable to really try and venture forth. There's a Frost Nova for a bit of steal of experience. Both sides fighting their way through. Headhunters now making their rounds back again after that Lich, who is now down to 196 hit points. Farseer down to 56 hit points, a little bit of slow, but able to retreat away again. Shadowhunter perhaps going to try. Oh no, Lich is right there. Shadowhunter, Lich going to try and engage here. Are we going to perhaps see some more damage rack up? Lich now down to 163 hit points. Wolves now trying to stay close, as a giant sea turtle could end up getting cleaned up. That Shadowhunter has not, used or chosen an ability yet, opting instead for Hex, and now going to go after a low hit point Ghoul, who was down to 173 or 133 hit points, could end up losing, a handful of units relatively early on after that Shadowhunter popped its head out. Level 3 on the Lich, level 2, level 1. We are teching to tier 3. Sheik does not have enough gold to, start training up that secondary hero yet, but we know it will be coming in soon. 24 supply compared to 34. Sheik having a rather large army, rather small army, but getting in a large amount of gold and already teching to tier 3 during this time. Should also be able to get full saturation here in just a moment. Needs one more Acolyte to do so. Lich at level 3 here, trying to perhaps get in some additional Icy Blast. 24 over 60 compared to 34 over 41. Sheik's army relatively small, as all the ghouls are currently, fighting again. Are we going to be looking at another Hex? No, we are not, as the Necropolis is just now teching the tier 2. I take it back. I thought we were at Halls of the Dead. No, we are just at Necropolis still, so it's going to be a little bit of time before we see a second hero. As the Farseer challenges this Tomb of Relics and some of the other key structures in Sheik's space, TGW needs to figure out what his long-term game plan is. He cannot sit back and allow TGW to continue to mine freely off of 2 bases while he is just sitting on 1. He is trying to capitalize on his larger army right now to translate into advantage on the battlefield and perhaps eventually shut down even more bases. However, with Sheik constantly denying experience with Dark Ritual and Ritual Dagger, taking experience opportunities away from TGW. TGW's heroes, even though it feels like they should have a commanding lead based off of the amount of units Sheik has lost, Sheik's lost many of those units as the final shot to a Dark Ritual or a Ritual Dagger. 40 over 41 supply, going up against 30 over 60. An easy kill on a Spirit Wolf, going to get taken down right there, perhaps trying to finish off another one once more, as a low hit point Ghouls in the back getting ensnared, going to get cleaned up, and now giving the Shadowhunter level 2. Death Knight already making its way out onto the battlefield. Will need to see a little bit of healing. Meanwhile, Raiders could try and go after this Altar of Darkness and perhaps shut down the Death Knight before it gets even into position. 39 supply compared to 31. And it doesn't look like TGW is going to really be able to get much out of this engagement here, as we see Frost Nova shut down a Raider. All right, more damage getting racked up. We don't see Pillage getting 10 gold a second right now. Meanwhile, I believe we are getting 20 gold a second by Sheik, as he is currently up on 2 bases, but now has lost that Altar of Darkness. New Altar of Darkness off to the north by Sheik should be resummoning up a hero as he techs the tier 3 and goes into a slaughterhouse. Sheik doing a little bit of desperate play, desperate effort here. Meanwhile, level 3 Farseer, level 2 Shadowhunter could be able to start knocking in and putting pressure here. Even just adding in one Demolisher would greatly change the overall feel and tactics. Meanwhile, the yellow orc continuing to lob their spears. Raiders continue to dive on in against that crypt. Crypt Fiend getting ensnared and, well, going to end up getting taken down by a Dark Ritual as the Dire Wolf able to force that Dark Ritual there to not give any experience. 3-2, a lot of units getting sacrificed. More wolves getting sacrificed here as we are looking at TGW finishing off that last or that undead building. Tauren Chieftain as the third and final hero now, perhaps going to try and pick up some items and now make its way down to the bottom right of the battlefield. I thought he had picked up some items, apparently not, as we still have 11 minutes of mining, 11 and a half minutes of mining to go. Farseer, Shadowhunter off to that 12 o'clock location, looking to clear out some of these Murgle Snarecasters and these Tidehunters and Warriors, or Bloodgills. Going to finish that pretty easily. Shouldn't give any level here, as we do see a tiny Great Hall getting set up during all this commotion to maintain economic stability. 46 supply compared to 32. Sheik still slowly rebuilding his army. Meanwhile, TGW is building up his army and trying to rebuild more infrastructure underneath as well. Lich could have a bad day. Are we going to see a death coil? Yes, we are. No ensnare, though. Never mind. Take it back. And there's an ensnare from a leading raider. Are we going to see enough damage get knocked up onto that Lich? No, we are not, as the Tauren Chieftain unable to keep pursuit with that Death Knight. Low hit point Raider needs to get healed up quickly. Needs to get a clarity potion on that Farseer as well. Meanwhile, Tauren Chieftain still sitting only at level 1. Needs to get to level 2 and should be able to do that exactly here off of this Rock Golem Creep Camp, even with the Shadowhunter nearby taking up some of this experience. This is the 432 Creep Camp. I believe there's 120 or no, 150 experience. We may actually be a bit short. 166. All right, going to join in on the fight. 182, yes, we will have... Well, we may not have enough. The Shadowhunter is right there. Tauren Chieftain does end up getting enough experience there. Meanwhile, Shadowhunter, well, 40 experience shy. 4-1 going up against a 3, nearly 3-2. That is actually very scary for the undead army. How is he going to be able to counteract that Farseers? Well, the Farseers chain lightning eventually, but they're Dire Wolves and that Hex coming across from that Shadowhunter. Tauren Chieftain's Stomp cannot also be downplayed, but there's still a little bit of time before we see that particular ability at that particular power level. And as I say that, TGW is clearing the creep camps to do exactly that. Wants to get level 3, larger radius, and perhaps be able to capitalize on some big wins. Over here to the top right, Sheik now sitting at 48, still in no upkeep. Meanwhile, TGW sitting at 64 over 72, in a great spot to try and, well, push his advantage a little and force perhaps his opponent to make a mistake. Watchtower quickly going to get taken down. We're looking at the Orc Burrow now, quickly going to get taken down. There's a Death Coil. Units should be trying to retreat. Are we going to see a straight up land on any other units? No, we are not, but we do have Berserkers already out on the battlefield, dealing 26 to 30 damage per attack with, well, that True Shot Aura item. Coming back through. Bottom left-hand side, we see a Dreadlord acting as the third and final hero from Sheik. Perhaps being able to get a sleep off on a unit to pick him off is going to be blessings in disguise. Meanwhile, TGW looking to find where the blue army is to perhaps try and cut him off. Hasn't been able to do that exactly yet. All right, coming back across here, Voodoo Lounge quickly going to get cleaned up. Now taken out, perhaps going to go after the Ultra of Storms or some other important building, as we are looking at TGW now looking to, well, scout out to this northern expansion spot and shut it down if it is operational, which it is. 63 supply compared to 53. Wind Riders are here. Shadow Hunter, Tauren Chieftain is here as well. Are we going to perhaps see some Hex or Stomps? That is the question, as we see Wand of the Wind now on that Lich, neutralizing her from the fight, not being able to get into that many Frost Novas. All right, more damage getting in here. There goes another Frost Nova. Are we going to see some damage? Yes, there goes a Wind Rider. More units falling. 46 supply compared to 54, as Orc able to hold on to that expansion and that army size advantage. Coming back through 3-3-2, going up against a 4-2-1. Still anyone's game as of yet, especially as, well, I thought the Death Knight was closer to leveling than initially. Now it appears he still needs quite a bit of time, especially with that Lich taking some of that precious experience away. Destroyer here trying to devour magic. Ghoul going to go ahead and retreat back. What is the item? A Belt of Giant Strength. Death Knight now having very, very confident natural regeneration, able to regenerate, what, anywhere from 4 to 6 hit points a second. Actually, I think 3 to 5 or more while on Blight. Death Knight gets a quick Death Coil here. Exchanging of the Death Coils, both sides trying to exchange, trying to minimize losses. And here we are, well, the Peons trying to repair that Orc Burrow to get it, well, back to sanitary conditions and be able to live there. But, well, it seems like the Lich and the Death Knight have something to say about that. Down to the south, we could get, nope, not a double level up, at least a single level up. There's that Dreadlord now sitting at level 2. Lich is still quite a bit shy of level 5, with the Death Knight getting closer to level 3. All right, here we go into this engagement. Now, Dreadlord gonna easily clean up this Gargantuan Sea Turtle. Are we gonna see a low hit point Ghoul back away? No, we are not. He is all gung-ho, ready to be in this fight, and has done exactly that. Dreadlord now sitting at level 2. Death Knight sitting at level 3. Still needs some more Clarity Potions. Doesn't have that much mana to try and burst heal. All right, more Acolytes getting taken out. Tome of Agility +2 being left behind. Apparently no one wants free armor in the form of agility, as the 3 o'clock expansion now once more being pressured by TGW. Sheik is in some serious trouble here, especially as the Raiders are perhaps causing particular problems. Now as, yeah, the Raiders are causing problems here, as the Farsi are now going to go ahead and try and retreat back. There you are. There you have it. Well, TGW escapes away at 71 over 72 supply compared to Sheik's 66 over 60. Game still, well, trying to find its legs, so to speak. Sheik has opted to go for a Frost Worm as well. That Frost Worm with that, well, with that slow breath magic attack could spell certain doom for the slower moving Orc army if they are not careful. Tauren Chieftain, Shadow Hunter, Farsi are getting ready to engage here. The giant sea turtle is getting caught in the crossfire and could end up getting lost, as the Tauren Chieftain puts down his foot, only to see Scroll of Healing, Scroll of Protection quickly being used within succession. All right, more damage still trying to get, well, racked up here. What's going to end up going down? Destroyers are trying to go after some of those units. Cloak of Shadow still off to the north. Lich, seeing that level 5, is going to be able to start, well, machine gunning out some of those Frost Novas to take that victory. All right, there's a Death Coil, but a split second late is that Tauren Chieftain stomp as damage is still racking up. All right, trying to finish off unit after unit after unit. There's a one very low hit point unit as in the Shadow Hunter who's seen that 16 hit points. Meanwhile, Destroyer unable to do much there. Are we going to see some damage? Yes, level 3 now on that Dreadlord as the Lich now could be in trouble, down to 66, 70 hit points, and now back on Blight. Sheik down to 30 supply after that fight there. TGW up to 54 over 72, and he just seems to be absolutely dominating these fights here. Lich, Death Knight trying to hide in the back of their own base. Does not look good for them at all. Even with the Nerubian Towers and the Necropolises joining in on the battle, the damage is just not sticking around nearly enough. All right, there is a giant stomp right there. More damage onto some of those footmen. Well, Farseer trying to engage here, perhaps trying to shut down this Tauren Chieftain. The Tauren Chieftain ends up falling at level 4. And everyone's still battling it out here for this last bit of advantage. All right, Farseer going to go ahead and escape away. Dreadlord able to escape away as well. And 3 heroes of the undead, pretty much that is it. 8 supply, so 15 supply army, that is all 3 heroes, and then 8 supply everywhere else. Northern Gold Mine has about 10 and a half minutes of mining left. Coming back around here, Death Knight, Deathcoil finds another Berserker, trying to finish off more and more Berserkers here. There is a Farseer who could end up getting surrounded. Are we going to see a surround there? There's a little bit more damage. Are we going to see perhaps a Frost Nova? No, nothing like that. As we are looking at Spirit Walkers, that Spirit Walker should just get finished off with a Deathcoil. You know that you need its mana anyways to finish it off since it is in the ethereal realm. All right. There's a Frost Nova instead, a little bit of collaboration damage there as the Death Knight, Lich, and Beast, and Dreadlord, excuse me, finish off these Spirit Wolves. All right, still no clear victor as of yet. Both sides running on 2 bases. Undead does have a slight hero level advantage in a level 5 Lich compared to a level 4 Farseer, but the Death Knight and the Lich of his armies is 1 level shorter than the Shadow Hunter Tauren Chieftain of TGWs. It's going to come down to execution, as it always should. Who's able to do the most with their own collective units? That is the question. Down to the south here, Wolves checking out the starting locations. Make sure no additional gold is being mined anywhere. Orc, is he running out of gold? Yes, Orc is already running out of gold as well. While Undead has just a little bit more gold in reserves if they need this game to go long. TGW also have 2,000 lumber, so doesn't really need any additional units on lumber. That's why you can see 10 out of his 11 workers are just mining gold right now. Meanwhile, Sheik has 11 as well, but should be having a number of ghouls working on the tree line. All right, Dreadlord, Lich, Death Knight now making its way over. There's a big Frost Nova here. Orc Burrow is trying to use that spiked barricades to reflect back some of that damage. Frostworms are here trying to rack up more damage. Some of them are illusions, and with Sheik having illusionary Frostworms, that may actually, cause a little bit more of a scare. All right, more damage racking up here as the Frostworms are still somehow able to stay alive. One goes poof, and is that going to be it as the Shadow Hunter trying to continue to use Healing Wave to make this fight drag out a bit longer. All right, Dreadlord could have been a problem. Down to 220 hit points. Going to continue to try and retreat back. Let's take a look. Are we going to see some damage onto some of these units? No, we are not. As the Troll Bat Rider suicides itself on a Frostworm illusion. Both sides still fighting their way through. Farseer trying to escape away. Looks like he'll be able to do exactly that. Shadowhunter trying to give chase, but doesn't have enough mana as a Frost Nova goes down, giving level 6 to the Lich. Level 6 Lich pretty much makes it the game right there, as that level 6 Lich, having so many ways to refill his mana, can just rapidly churn them out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the final scores. Sheik over TGW, winning in pretty much every single category except for resources, but that was a different story to tell. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.